Om Shanti. So, welcome all of you to the Values Workshop. And today it's on positivity. So, let's again spend a few minutes in silence. Reflect on the power of positivity. Being positive in challenging circumstances is so very beneficial. You all know that. So from today's workshop, let's try to understand how to become more positive. And let's explore what are the benefits of being positive? And with that, let's try to inculcate this habit of using affirmations, which is highly positive statements in our mind, creating those thoughts, affirmative thoughts, which really help us to tide over the crisis. And let's, in a minute of silence now, invoke the presence of the most positive being, the Supreme Being. So, welcome all of you once again. And as all of you know, our journey, we have celebrated the second year as well last time. So let's move on, not speaking more about the past, let's be in our present. Today is the 51st episode. We started this brand new third year, and let's start it on a very positive note. So I welcome all the facilitators. We have Sister Anu from Canada, Sister Shruti from US West Coast, Sister Pooja from India, and thank you all the participants as well. So as always, let's start with a very short icebreaker. It's a very self-explanatory video because it's all mentioned with notes over there and sentences mentioned. So let's see what you all can gather from this. And then you all can do some quick chat box sharings as well. So let me just go and play the YouTube for you all. Okay, so welcome all of you. So let's see. I would do the first sharing so that you all don't do that sharing. Sorry for that. Is it hope drives distress out or distress drives hope out? So let's explore this. Okay, so you all are welcome to share. Maybe you can do, you can on your videos as well if you are comfortable, and you can do a few oral sharings as well. Okay, so I'll start reading from the chat box. Thank you, Balvinder sister, for starting. Normal, natural process of life, nothing new. Interesting. I think probably you're speaking about the autumn and the spring, and you're all seeing the autumn there, beautiful colors. You're seeing that. Yes. Anyone else wants to share what insights were gained from the video? The game is not over yet, still on. Yes, Diana sister, thank you for that. Anyone wants to speak? We have a few more minutes before we jump into the next activity. You're all highly positive. Arun bhai, yes, go ahead. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good evening, and very interesting clip indeed. I joined a little bit late, but hope is there, so it should drive the distress. This is my personal belief, because we live with a hope, and the hope carries, whether it is business, whether it is spirituality, or whether in any field of the life. Hope is the only driving force for us to live in this world, and we make it more happy when we uh, distribute that hope amongst our peer group, and also it can be the situation that we ourselves have that hope within ourselves first, and then Baba gives the courage to do that for us. So that hope is there, and that determination and that conviction can drive the process everywhere. This is my general remark, I would say.
Fine, thank you so much. Quite elaborate, that's good. So I'll just read the few responses. I have 1 more minute left. Okay, so it is Subhash Bhai is saying, let's put a full stop and look forward. Brijpal Bhai says, after darkness, sun will definitely rise. And that was really nice, beyond the clouds. We sometimes also say there's a silver lining to every cloud. That's what I was also thinking. Khyati is saying, life is all about perspective. Yes, we can either see calamity in every opportunity or an opportunity in every calamity. Fantastic. So a lot of things you have given food for thought for the next poem sometimes. So seeing opportunity in calamity, or having a fully negative approach, seeing calamity in every opportunity. Okay, Rita Mishra has said in Hindi, jo ho raha hai, acha hai, acha hoga. So whatever is happening good or positive, and everything will happen positive as well. I think I'll just take the chat box sharings. Hope you all don't mind me, Shruti Ben. I'll just finish in next half a minute. Anu sister is saying positivity is seeing the glimpse of the light, the hope in all the dark and difficult situations, right? Manuel brother is saying not to be stopped by the falseness. Yes, it's actually a false. We'll be discussing a lot about illusion and falseness in today's summary sharing, which Dr. Roger Cole had shared. And I'll read the last one from Vijay Bhai, that hope gives us good time to come, and distress is actually a part of drama. Remain positive that nothing new. What happened is good, what is happening is good, so very well phrased, and what will happen is the best to come. Great, thank you so much. So thank you all for your oral sharings as well, and we move on to the next. Over to you, Shruti sister. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj Bhai. So with such beautiful sharings, I think it sets the ground for our first activity for today. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen. Give me one quick second. Okay. So what we are going to do in this activity is spend a few minutes in thinking about the benefits of being positive. So this is a two-part activity. So the first part is I will give you a few minutes to reflect on a situation where you were able to think positive and be positive despite being surrounded by negativity. As we saw both in the video, and I don't really need to elaborate, I think each one of us knows and recognizes that when it comes to the current environment, we can have a litany of negativity around us. So pick one situation at work, at home, with one individual, with a group of individual, group dynamics, some time where, a very specific time where it felt like everything was moving, or felt like it was, you were swimming in negativity, and yet you were able to maintain a positive attitude or think positively, even if it felt like swimming upstream, but you were able to be that beacon of light, just like we saw in the video. So the first part is thinking about that situation, and then we will go into the second portion, which is, if you can, much to our workshop style, take a pen, paper, or find a place to jot down, reflecting back on that situation, think about what benefits did you gain by being positive, both on your physical health, mental and emotional health, social, and then finally spiritual. So I will play some light music to help you concentrate, but it's primarily a minute or two to give you some thinking time, and we'll come back to share. And I think if we are ready, let's discuss Would anybody like to get us started? So I see a chat sharing. Pooja says physically she felt more active, mentally when she stayed positive through a difficult situation or a negative situation. Mentally she felt peace of mind. Socially she was more accepting of people's behavior. Is there anybody else who would like to
Om
share?
Shanti Didi ji.
Om Shanti, Vijay, please go ahead.
Om Shanti Didi ji. Whatever big or small situations came in our life in the journey of from childhood to weight, if we remain positive or we can remain positive, things becomes very, very small. In fact, no outside circumstances can make us unstable if we are positive inside. The inside positivity means only two things. One, I am a peaceful soul, I am a loveful soul, I am a happy soul, I am Master Shaktiman, I am Master Almighty. If we have these positive thoughts inside and good wishes for outside people, to the whole world, to the nature, everybody, every situation will become too tiny and will become a boon. Like our Baba says, Tufan will become a gift. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Vijay. Priya in the chat says remaining positive has helped her in the social aspect by she started to trust people more. That's something that she noticed. Very nice. Would anybody else like to share benefits of how it
Shanti.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
If I remember a recent incident when somebody was shouting at me and putting some allegations, and I was quite, I mean, because of positivity, I did not react in that moment. Neither I react in that moment and nor after that. And because of positivity, um, I was very light, and I did not feel any baggage of when we don't practice the positivity or we practice the negativity, it always feels like a baggage. So when I remained in that situation positive, I felt that there was no baggage after that incident. Baggage means it keeps on reminding you that incident, but being positive in that incident, it was like it just happened and it was not irritating me again and again, reminding the incident. And it also allowed the other person to calm down soon. I mean, when we practice the positivity, the other person also come back to the normal situation very soon.
Very nice, very nice. So both mental and emotional lightness, and then socially as well, the whole situation got diffused a lot sooner. The other person also stopped. So beautiful. I see a couple more sharings in the chat, but before I read that out, is there anybody else who would like to unmute and share? Yes, please go ahead, Sister Rita. I see your hand raised.
Recently, my junior colleague, she decided to do something, go ahead with a plan and executed the whole thing without discussing with me, So मुझे थोड़ा सा अटपटा सा लगा भी, and I thought maybe this was not the right way that she was going ahead with it. So I but whether she provides some kind of attention or we don't blurt out with so much security, So I said, okay, I'm so sorry. It's okay, fine. Just go ahead how you feel comfortable. And I came back to my room. And then I was reflecting why this happened. The first thing, I could see her insecurity. I couldn't see mine, you know. But when I reflected on it, I felt that yes, I was also insecure somewhere. And Baba says, accept the things, accept it. And that day I realized that really, if I had just accepted without, giving my opinion to her, maybe she would be more comfortable. She was very uncomfortable, and I could see. And it took me a week it took her a week to reconcile the whole thing, But I accepted immediately, and that made me feel, nahi, jo ho raha hai, wo acha ho raha hai, And after around 6 days, she came back normally to me, So that's what I feel, that being positive and accepting the facts, makes us so helpful in all situations. Om Shanti.
Very nice, Sister Rita. And just in the interest of time, if we can discuss more the benefits that you gained from it. So it's a beautiful sharing, Sister Rita, about how, it was a difficult situation, but the benefits that you gain from this, which clearly, you were able to gain some mental peace. Your relationship improved. So
the acceptance part.
The acceptance in the relationship grew. So that's beautiful. We have 2 more minutes for this exercise. Would anybody else like to share the actual benefits so we can give more time to more participants? Yes, Dr. Mehta, please go ahead.
I had undergone a major surgery requiring number of blood transfusions, almost 30 pints of blood. And 6 weeks in the hospital. This was way back, 50 years back almost, when I was young, at 33. I had, with all this, I was losing 1 kilogram of weight every day, because those were the days when there was no nutrition understanding or hyperalimentation. But on the day I came out of the hospital, I drove my car. So I wanted to tell myself that I'm perfectly all right. I had a chest tube in my chest, draining a little fluid, probably pass. But that was the mental makeup, that you are going to be all right and you will take care of yourself. There's a positive way of looking at life, that I am not going to surrender. I am going to be successful. And that is it. And that is again translated into your practice to drive back into the car. By my trousers, I couldn't even, I had to hold on to my trousers because I lost so much of weight. I think the mental makeup is very important.
So much from there, like whether it's the mental strength that it gave you, the physical, it helped you with just the effort of driving a car. So lots of benefits to be gained from that one. So thank you, Dr. Mehta. So I think we are at time, but I'll take 30 seconds and just read out a few of the sharings that we got from here. One was normalcy gets established, normal waves. We are able to accept, start seeing bird's eye view, and helps gain confidence in people. Staying positive gives me emotional stamina to handle the situation rationally. Excellent quality when I'm in hot situations with family, I tend to explode, but I'm not able but when I'm working on myself with your workshops, all right. Few other, of course, we have the summarized slide as well, but physically it helps with vital parameters remain stable, blood sugar remains controlled. Mentally, we remain safe from feeling drained out. Socially, the relationships remain intact, and spiritually, you feel like you experience the Swasthiti like Angat, the mythological character, and then we experience what is called as Maulai Masti, so basically carefree attitude. And I think with that, I will hand it off to Manoj Bhai, for the next part of the workshop.
Thank you, Sister Shruti. And I can see today there are many doctors in the workshop on positivity. That's great to see them. And we can see one of the doctors, Sandeep, is sharing that we always find it a challenge in our positivity workshops. The physical aspect is not covered, but you have beautifully answered, Sandeep, that the vital parameters remain stable, and we don't need to go in what are the vital parameters now. It's not a medical workshop, but blood sugar remains controlled, right? So that's a good thing. There are immense physical benefits of thinking positive and being positive, along with mental and social as well. Yeah, so now let's try to move on to the next activity. Thank you for all your sharings. My job is now to take you into the meditative mode. And before I go there, I just want to say that thinking positive, being positive, all these can be really practiced more by going in what is called affirmations. And when I say affirmations, it means highly positive thoughts about self, about others. So many things come in that. So let's take a moment, and I'll just play some soft music as well for you all. So let's take a deep breath in and out. Inhale and exhale. A few deep breaths. And as you do so, relax your body. Relax. See yourself as this beautiful, conscient being of light, which is actually light in nature as well. But for some reasons, some challenges in life, I make myself feel very heavy suddenly. So let's move on further in this lightness feeling further and practice a few affirmations. Also at Brahmakumaris, we call these swamans, that is thoughts of self-respect. I respect myself for the way I am, because I am the child of God, the Supreme Being. With this very powerful thought of belongingness to God, let me reaffirm myself that whatever is going to happen with me will always be right. I have to accept and move on. Because God is my protector, always benevolent being. So I feel so protected under His canopy. And let me visualize a canopy of positivity, as you can see in front of the screen. A light coming as a canopy onto me, canopy of positive thoughts all around. So here we go. These few affirmations, we would like you all to, this is purposely done right now so that you all are prepared for the next activity of action planning. So I'll just stop sharing and I will pass it on to Anu sister now for the next activity. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Manoj brother. Such beautiful, very short meditation and such powerful sharings. We did all like reflected on positivity. what is that it does to us, what is it adds onto our life. So the very next thing we will do in this exercise is to practice the positive thinking, create some affirmations for the self. It was so beautiful. We saw that the canopy of positivity from God, divine, is always with me. Does that give me the power to create that positive thinking affirmations so strongly for me that I can create it when needed? Becomes a part of me, a natural part of me. And it all starts with loving the self, respect the self as I am, but we respect ourselves according to, we know how we think for the self and others and our qualities. Am I kind? Am I, compassionate? What am I? What are the qualities that I express through my actions, through my thoughts, and that are my part? It's important to know that, and creating that self-respect, that positive thoughts, affirmation, the self will stay with us always. So how we will do this action planning exercise is that we'll ask you to take a piece of paper, write down 3 affirmations for the self, and you write it that I love myself because, and how it will go, the 3 points, because I am, 3 points about you. I'm sure you all know. Let's today put it in the paper and take it in our consciousness always. So this is the first part of your reflection. And I think I will put the second question on another page. You have to write 3 different affirmations for others who inspired you, whom you love, you respect, because they express something that is powerful, that empowers you. So you love or respect somebody, him or her, because he or she is. What qualities, what affirmation you want to write for them? Will take about 2 minutes. So think about it, write it down, that you can carry with. I hope you all got it. It's not that hard, right? We know ourselves and others who are around us and inspire us. So I'll stop here, the sharing, and I'd like to invite you to share. What is that you wrote for yourself? What are the positive affirmations you are taking with yourself, for yourself and for someone else?
Om Shanti Didi ji.
Yes. Yes, Vijay Bhaiji, go ahead.
My dear brothers and sisters, please accept greetings of love, peace, and happiness. 3 affirmations for the self. I am soul, child of Almighty Supreme Soul. Number 2, I am loveful soul. Number 3, I am happy soul. And for others, you are also a soul, a child of Supreme Soul, so we are brothers. You are also happy soul, you are also loveful soul. We both are brothers on a journey to be happy all the time. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much, Vijay Bhai. Yeah, I can read one. Subhas says on the chat, I love myself because I'm a valuable soul, I'm a success, and I'm a powerful soul. So that's your affirmation that you will carry with you all the time, that any situation may come, these positive thoughts will take you through. Dr. Mehta says, I love myself because I am fearless, honest, and he says, love challenges. Love challenges. Maybe you can explain, Dr. Mehta. Because I didn't understand it. Okay, yeah, thank you.
When there are challenges, the best in me comes out.
Yeah, okay. And then, yeah, I will read a few other. If anyone is inspired to share, please be ready. Yeah, anybody who would like to share their points? Yes, Balvinder, you ready?
Yes, Om Shanti ji, everyone. My 3 affirmations. The first one is, I love myself. Why? Because now I know who is the self. Second, I love myself. Why? Because I know I'm love. Baba told me. I love myself. Why? Because I have become master ocean of love. And same applies for everybody else, because me and them inside same. So there's no difference. So we are all ocean of love. So this is a new me. Thank you.
Very beautiful. Thank you. That's the new you realized. And Baba is the divine. That is the inner trust and knowing that you are love. Love is flowing from you. Thank you so much, Balvinder. Anyone else? So Suchita says, I'm pure-hearted, like simplicity. God loves me so much. So she likes simplicity and God loves her so much. Arun brother says, I am able to analyze, make decisions, accept the results coming as they are. And number 2, I am a team player. Number 3, I am accommodative. So that are his positive affirmations. Pooja sister says, I am stronger than I know, a beautiful soul, loving. And she is having that positive affirmation for somebody else, that is he or she is a joyful soul, honest and hardworking, always smiling. Sandeep says, Dr. Sandeep, I love myself as I'm lucky soul, I'm confident, I'm truthful. He or she is helpful, stressless, and humble. You can also think about somebody and creating, not a generalized. It is also good to notice the qualities in someone and you are saying those affirmations, then that is real, true. In general, if we create, it may not be, because then I don't know if you can hold on to that when you need. So I'm sure you all have thought about somebody when you wrote the affirmation for somebody else. Suchita says, for others, helping nature, pleasant company enhances my knowledge. Sangeeta says, I am a strong soul, I'm a loving soul, I'm a simple soul. Beautiful. Dr. Mehta, about others who are helpful, cool, and smiling, supports who you need it, when you need it. So the others who support when you need. Geeta Jumani says, I'm loving soul. Richpal Bhai says, I'm a lovable, pure soul. I'm connected to Supreme. I'm honest, powerful soul. And for others, you are a loving soul, sincere, cooperative, caring, and supportive. Beautiful. Did we spend time ever to think about this? So such great sharings. Sister Pooja is writing on and will share with you all. So maybe it's time we wrap up. So Sister Pooja, if you can show. And Dr. Sandeep says, I'll just read from the chart. Rajini Didi, for her, ever smiling, humble, and caring. So we all love her. You are from Japan, I believe. We're talking about Rajini Didi.
Rajni Didi is from Nagpur. She's the center in charge there.
Okay.
So can I request Sandeep Bhai to speak maybe just 1 minute about positivity?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Then we'll wrap up. Thank you, Manoj. Yes, Sandeep Bhai, would you like to share?
I think anyway, you can carry on.
Sure.
Sorry for this.
Yeah, no problem. So Pooja, when you can show again, we are still getting a lot in the chart, you know, sweet soul, pure soul, powerful soul. Rita says, I love myself because Baba found me, I'm lucky. Arun brother says about others, he gives unconditional love, gives Mon ki bhasha and Neno ki bhasha. Beautiful. Maybe from others, that's what you get. Okay. So Sandeep Bhai says he's not able to connect or speak. So these are the beautiful affirmations, and I know you all got for yourself, and that's staying with you, but we will also share it from the chart as well. So you will all receive in the email. So look for that. And as we have asked, if you have not shared your contacts, please share with us in the chat. Now I'll hand it over to Brother Manoj to take it forward.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Kumar Mani Bhai, I'll just give you half a minute because we are running late. You had something you wanted to share in English, half a minute.
Om Shanti. I love myself because I am a peaceful soul. I have faith on God. I am humble and I have trust on God. And I like you because you are helpful, you have sympathy on others, and you have truthfulness. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's great to see we are having new participants from two Purs in India. One is Sambalpur in the state of Orissa, and second is Nagpur in the state of Maharashtra, the center of India. So I would request all of you all to please send your emails and WhatsApp numbers to Vidhi sister or Anu sister, because you all are constantly asking you all want to be a part of these. So we'll be sending you the invitations well in advance. So don't worry, we will do that soon. Okay, so as all of you have noticed that all these affirmations are value-based. You will always say, I am very happy, I am very loving as a positive affirmation. You will never say, I am not sad or I am not an angry soul. That doesn't go well with an affirmation. So affirmations always are positive. So let's move on to, people have started sharing in the chat box if you all want to note it down. So as we always do, let me just start sharing this. We have around next 14 minutes to share. This was the talk given by one of our very senior Rajyogi brothers, Dr. Roger Cole from Australia, and he's a palliative care physician. Basically, if I can explain you, palliation is that part of treatment whereby it really is not about treating the patient with specific medicines, because that patient has really crossed that limit, for example, if it's a terminal cancer, we really can't do anything much for him, but we can do palliation, like simple things, relieve his pain if he's got severe pain. So usually a lot of pain management comes in palliation or palliation. And let me tell you, if you want to listen to the audio or video of Dr. Roger Cole, please go ahead and do that. We'll be sharing the details of the workshop talks later. But the thing is, you have to be very, very, while you listen to his talk, you have to be concentrate on what he's saying, because at the first glance or just listening to it for the first time, you may not be able to understand what he's trying to say. But if you listen with a lot of attention, a lot of concentration, you'll try to understand the depth of his talk. That's what me and Pooja Behan were discussing, because at the first look, you may not understand the talk very well. So let's go on to what he said. All his things about positivity were revolving around one concept of ego. And I'll cover that in the question answers. We covered a lot about ego. And he said very predominantly that if there is ego around, you really can't practice positivity. So you have to give up your ego. And what is ego? He has specified later. But ego basically is trying to identify ourselves with a false image, which we are not. So not knowing our true identity and trying to follow that I am this big body, which you all can see in the mirror, that is basically ego. So he said that you have to connect with your true identity of who am I? And then we really don't need to think about positivity, because if I'm situated in this very higher consciousness, what we call the soul consciousness, we are connected to the source, the higher source, the supreme, whatever you want to call. And then I don't really need to make an effort then to think about being positive. I'm sorry. So he shared a beautiful story about a patient who was having a terminal stage cancer, and he was having some hepatic, some liver cancer, and it was really not doing well. And he was trying to go towards the patient, speak to him, but the patient was really very upset. But finally, after a lot of counseling and a lot of good vibrations, which Dr. Roger Cole shared, finally that patient realized, and he was able to lift the guilt out of himself, and even the doctor was able to lift the guilt. And finally, it dissolved down to what he was saying, Dr. Cole and the patient, that nothing matters. I'll come to this nothing matters if you're not able to understand right now in the question soon. And particularly when we go through such stages of life, particularly big terminal illness, is where you know that you are just going to survive for maybe 2-3 weeks, a month or so, then that can cause a lot of trauma. And actually, it is that point of time in your life when positivity actually starts becoming very natural, because you feel, oh, you just have a little bit of time left. Why not live it in a lot of positivity? And Dr. Cole said that positivity comes from healing and wholeness. And all of you know the holistic approach, which at Brahma Kumaris is taught, all our mind-body medicine conferences, or even now recently we'll be having in Mumbai, the Rejuvenating Medical Mind conferences. All of you all are motivated to attend that, particularly doctors, because just physical treatment of the body and the physical healing of the body is not the only thing. It's a holistic approach. And all of us know that very well in our practice nowadays as well. And very well, he said that while practicing the palliative care, giving this knowledge about the deep aspects, the deep philosophy of karma is important, because the patient needs to understand that why me, why he is suffering so much, because there is definitely something coming from the past. And as today someone shared in Hindi, Maun ki bhasha and Nano ki bhasha. Maun means silence, the language of silence, and the language of the eyes. Eyes can really do a lot of good work and bad work as well. So the language of silence. So he said, let us try to practice time for ourselves, try to sit in silence, and try to look at that inner beauty of who am I actually. And that will really help us in inculcating more positivity. I'll take this last statement. I liked it a lot. It is a bit deep to understand. He said that the ego keeps the mind trapped, and it does not allow to develop positivity because it creates an illusion of separation. So if I understood it right, I'll tell you my perspective about this. So all of us are living in this illusion that we are these bodies. No, I'm sure many of you are Brahma Kumari students here practicing regular meditation. So it's easy, it becomes easy for me to explain to you all. So this basically means I am not the body actually. And when I identify myself with the body, the ego seeps in and all the other vices also start coming in. All my weaknesses, negativities come in. And that keeps my mind fully trapped. I'm engaged in that in the entire day if I'm considering myself to be in body consciousness. But the moment I find myself separate, that I am this soul, the energy, and using this body, then that can really help me to get free of this illusion. This was his quote, that connect with others through the divine so that I can see the divinity in everybody. Hang on, we will be doing sometime soon in the next few months, we'll be doing a workshop and a values talk on divinity. It's a beautiful value which we haven't covered as yet. He also mentioned that I see the light that shines and I see the energy that's pure. Let me take a few questions. We have almost 7 more minutes because I think in the question answers, we were able to discuss a lot about ego. So a very common question for today's nowadays settings that there's a lot of negativity outside. How do we remain positive? So again, Brother Roger said negativity is just an illusion. I mean, whatever is happening in the outside world is happening. We don't have to classify it as something negative or positive. It is just happening. And he said it is coming from ego because again, ego doesn't allow you to know yourself. So basically he said, looking at the scenes outside, if I'm getting angry, again, that is not a normal state of being because my normal state of being is silent and peaceful. So if I'm getting angry or upset, it's again an illusion. It's a false state of being, so quite deep. And he said that try to be detached from, if, for example, if someone is angry, try to be detached from the emotions of that person at that moment if he is very emotionally upset. Try to detach from that, as the only truth is that all of us are souls. So if we can really practice this more often, a few days ago also in the spiritual teachings of the Brahma Kumaris, we had a major, what we call Baba Milan days. On that day also, it was all about the Supreme telling us that, my dear child, try to practice this more and more often. Practice makes you perfect. And actually, I feel positivity is nothing to be spoken about. It is more of a way of my lifestyle. The more I remain in this true identity of being a soul, I can naturally reflect positivity. Yeah, as I told you, I'll be telling you a lot about ego because that's what Dr. Cole told us. A beautiful definition. All of you are aware of this ego, edging God out. A beautiful one. So if I remove the supreme being, the supreme soul out from my life, in the sense, if I'm not connected to him, I'm really in illusion again. I'm in ego because I'm identifying myself with this costume, the body which I'm wearing. So he spoke about that how kids are born very innocent, but as they start coming in interaction with parents, with friends, as he grows up, with other relatives, they start helping him to develop the ego because then he becomes body conscious. And you know, when a child, a newborn baby is really not body conscious. So it's all sort of, we pick it up. It's all acquired as we go on our life journey. And then we start developing these very big things. All of you know the desires. And all these desires, if they are not being fulfilled, it leads to unhappiness because I carry this big illusion again that only if my desire gets fulfilled, that I will be happy. So happiness actually is a state of mind, which has nothing to do with fulfilling desires. I need to understand that. The second thing which I asked him was about various ego defense mechanisms. In psychology books, you can always see, if you can Google that term. But again, Brother Roger said, ego doesn't have any defense mechanism because if you are egoistic, you're already defensive. That's what he said. You are in an attack all the time. Because if you're egoistic, you will definitely do something violent. Either with your words, you will speak something anger will be reflected or expressed, or your thoughts will become violent, or you'll be full of yourself, and so on and so forth. So he said, essentially, there are no defense mechanisms. Ego is just an attack all the time. And he said, why don't we just find out some time for silence, connect with the divine being, and say these affirmations as well. A beautiful affirmation, I must say, not value-based, but a beautiful statement that I am here and available. If we can say this to the Supreme Being in the meditation every now and then, I'm sure he will definitely use us. And all of us have experienced that. He'll use us for service. Then this was one beautiful thing, nothing matters. He was telling, and even the patient was undergoing palliation was saying that. So nothing matters. How do we sort of understand this? And how do we practice this in our life and become a trustee? So he said that there are two ways to understand. First thing is, no thing matters, means whatever is happening in life is just happening to me. I am making it positive or negative and becoming happy or sad. It's just happening to me. So it doesn't really matter. And second thing is, no thing matters means know the thing that really matters. And know what thing? The soul. So while I know that, yes, I am this conscient being and everything which is happening with the body, then really nothing matters. Then the next question is all about, how do you practice ego to not come and affect you? It was actually a question from the chat box that many people, a soul was sharing that she was being told by many people that you are very egoistic. And the soul was feeling that, no, I am not egoistic. I don't have ego. So if someone is trying to sort of target you like that, so he said the best way is to detach from myself and see myself, acknowledge. Let not what other people are telling me affect me, whether it is praise or whether it is defamation. As we all know in the sacred Hindu scripture of Gita, that we have to try to practice a stage of neutrality all the time. Because if someone praises, you are really going up. And if someone defames, you're really going down. So you're just in a yo-yo feeling. So best is just to remain neutral and not get affected by others' comments. So with this, we will now move on to Sister Antonella, who's joining us this time from Gyan Sarovar. And let me just stop sharing the screen, and if you can spotlight Sister Anu. So thank you so much, Sister Antonella, for joining. And let me just take a few more minutes before I give it to you. So
Sure.
thanks. So Sister Antonella has joined us for the first time. And all of you have seen that she's from Italy. She's a part of the national coordinating team there. And let me give you a brief history about her. That she was actually studying Japanese, the Oriental language and culture in Italy, and then she went to Japan. And where in 1988, she came across the teachings of Brahma Kumaris. And I mean, by profession, she was actually running a successful fashion business in Sardinia, which is another part of Italy. And then after that, her life really changed. And then she got inspired a lot by the BK. She'll be telling her that journey of her on her own. And after that, there's no looking back. So it's almost more than 30, 35 years she's into this and serving the entire region of Italy, particularly the parts of Bologna and Milan. So as always, I had actually met her in 2019, so we came to know each other that way. Let me just as always, say a few lines for her. So we have with us Sister Antonella, who serves the country of Italy, who's instrumental for promoting the living values activities literally. Being in the fashion business and learning the Japanese language lyrically, she set on this spiritual journey quite fast as being in a rally. And she says, let's ignore the past and count our blessings as a tally. So let's try to do that. And a few lines on positivity. So today she shall share her thoughts on positivity. Her words of wisdom shall reflect her brevity and creativity. And we can then speed up, not tending to worry about relativity. Because now I am in the flying stage, far away from the pull of gravity. By connecting with each other, we can increase our conductivity. And that's what Raj Yoga teaches us, so that with one another, we develop spiritual connectivity and make this world a better place to live in with each one's cooperative activity. So with this, I would now pass it on to Sister Antonella, and it's all yours. So we'll be having 55 minutes talk, and after that, maybe a few questions. If you all have, please send me your questions, and then the closing meditation. So thank you once again for joining.
Yes. Thanks to you so much. And I'm very happy to be with all of you tonight. And yes, I'm in Gyan Sarovar, the headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris, so in one of the most wonderful places in the world. And I heard Roger Cole talk, and I was very inspired. Thank you, Manoj Bhai, for a beautiful recap of that talk. And thanks to everybody for the sharing that happened till now. So positivity is an incredible topic. And lately, for, within the COVID period, to be positive wasn't very good. It was better to be negative. So that was really weird to say to people, I'm not positive, I'm negative, that was safer. But it was an incredible expression that was really a kind of upside down. But when do we become really negative? What happened to us when we express negativity rather than positivity, which is our innate nature? And I was actually questioning myself, asking and I asked to you too, what do you think the world is more negative or more positive right now? Because if we see the surface and the condition of the world is surely there is so much violence, so much corruption, so much suffering. And where I come from Europe, where there is a war going on, which is quite impressive. And so we could say definitely the world is very negative. It's lacking, the basic values. But thinking deeper, I think the world expresses negativity very well, because this is what we see, this is what we experience on a daily basis. And yet deep down, as we know, as a spiritual awareness, the world is probably on, as a percentage, I would say is more positive, percentage-wise, because it's like each one of us has it rooted a core of goodness. And even though we might express the worst of the self sometime, often for some people, sometime for other people, yet that core self is there. The goodness never fade away. It's only forgotten, hidden, but it's still there. And for example, we might say a bad word to somebody or do a mistake, and then we repent, and then we say, why did I say that? It was not positive at all. Or why did I do that? It wasn't good at all. And or we might get upset with somebody and then later repent about that and go back to the best of the self, feeling maybe forgiveness or compassion or anyway coming again to a state of harmony or balance. So I would say there are two energies. One is very negative, destructive, destroying balances of life. And the other is a positive, restoring energy, leading us through an awareness, a journey of awareness. And those two energies are moving fast, both of them. So a kind of destruction, violence, negative energy, very visible, very tangible, is definitely there. But on the other side, the positive energy is also very, very present. And, inviting us to bring back up the best of the self. So I would ask myself, how distant am I from that core self? And the more I reduce the distance, the more positive I become. And we went so far from that nucleus, that being a soul conscious in a way, but we went so far into periphery. And the more we go further and further away, making a lot of mistakes, creating karma. And Roger mentioned about karma quite a bit. So the more we become upset with the self, the more we will blame people because we can't face our own shortcomings, and creating even more karma. And we become more and more negative. But how distant am I from the core self, where within the sacred space I hold an eternal love, eternal peace, eternal joy. It's all there. It never disappeared. And for me, this is an incredible principle, spiritual principle. It's an incredible awareness that lead me back to be positive again. And to make it shorter in terms of time, when I might express negativity, because being realistic, none of us is perfect. We are in the process of becoming better and better, as complete as we can. But we do daily some mistakes. I guess it's for everyone. And what do I do when I make a mistake? Or when I just express something that I don't like about myself? So how long does it take to revise, reset, restore my positivity? Because that will make the difference. How long does it take to go back to my centered, to restore my balance? And that could be also part of a kind of a homework, to just check the self. How distant am I from my core self on a daily basis? When things are happening, people are attacking me, I encounter things that happen suddenly. And how long does it take to be re-centered? Because that kind of stability, I think, is more and more essential to remain positive. So I do believe we are basically so positive, so great, so powerful. We lose that state. We get lost somewhere. And how long does it take to go back to my positivity, to my goodness, to my balance, to my stable state of being. To blame people, for example, is something that will bring me quite far, which is something that we might do daily. Is that right? Does it happen to you that you get into conflict, condemning people, pointing the finger to somebody, and becoming hypercritical, and then, of course, getting lost in so many waste thoughts? These will end up in being tired, exhausted, breaking the harmony of relationship, dependency, emotional dependency, and so many other negative traits. Do you know the etymology of negativity? It's a Latin word. Negative, nega, means to deprive the self. And so I deprive myself to the ability to express the best of me. So I just deprive myself of being the best of my being, of myself. But how do I sustain the muscle of positivity? How is the feeling inside when I am positive? So how do I sustain my positivity, and how do I feel when I am positive? It's just a beautiful feeling of having done the right things at the right time. I heard often people having this comment like, it's easy to be positive when nothing happened, but be positive when something happened or nothing works. How can I be positive when everything around myself collapses, or when I face a major issue on a health level, relationship level, economical level? Now in Europe, I don't know in this part of the country, of the world, but in Europe, there is this big issue of bills going up consistently, energy, gas. So how do we remain positive, facing big issue? For me, positivity is a way of interpreting life, because we can have different approach to the same situation. For example, like I remember the story of two ladies. I like stories. I will tell few within this chit chat. So it's a story of a lady receiving a phone call from a husband, and it's already late evening, and the husband says, I will not come back home soon for dinner because, I got stuck in the office. Don't wait for me. I will be coming quite late, but I really need to finish work. And down the phone. So the wife thought, it's the second time this week he's not coming home for dinner. He says he's in the office working, but, maybe he's doing something else. He doesn't care about the family. He doesn't even bother to come back home for lunch, for dinner. Maybe he has a different relationship, kind of affairs. And he start, this negative spinning. Negative thoughts are like a quick spinning of energy. And can you imagine when the husband will arrive at home in the evening, what kind of non-welcoming energy he will find? And second option, second woman.
थोड़ा सा इसके अंदर दूं आपको?
Sorry? Sorry, is some regarding?
No, I think
here?
it was someone was not muted, so we are muted. Sorry for that.
No, it's okay, no problem. So you can imagine the non-welcoming approach to their husband in the evening. Second option, another lady, same situation, the husband phone, I'm not coming back home for dinner. I have to stay in the office, so much work, I'm so sorry, but I can't really help this. And the woman and the wife will say, don't really worry, you know, I can understand, just you know, don't be stressed. And she hang the phone and think, oh, I have such a good husband, you know, he's caring so much for his family, you know, sustaining us so well that it's the second time this week he doesn't come back. I really feel concerned. So a completely different approach. But of course, the background of each of them was different. The first lady, thinking in a non-trusting way, she had some betrayal in the previous relationship. And so she was filtering, interpreting this event with that kind of feeling. I could be betrayed again. So the past was impacting the present. The second wife, the second lady, she had a father that was working like mad to sustain the family. So she was having the husband and perceiving the husband with that filter, with that past experience. So this is to say that if I want to keep a positive view, a positive approach to life, I need to become a good interpreter. A good interpreter renew constantly and clean the mind in order to be fully available for the new thing to interpret. So a practice is very important. The practice to clean your heart from the weight of the past. Because if I approach the present with the weight of the past, I will interpret things with that kind of experience. And I won't be able to enjoy the present. And of course, we know that we all come from many births where everything happened. But am I able, with the awareness of today, with the awareness of the law of karma, to clean my heart and to practice on a daily basis a very beautiful exercise that I think it goes online with what you share in the workshop previously. And that is to sometime during the day, take 10 minutes, even more, even better, to create the vibration of benevolence, good wish, pure feelings from the heart. It's something that we say all the time, but doesn't mean we do it, and often enough to clean my heart. And when we take some time out, and there are no excuses to say I don't have time, actually, because we do have enough time, as much as we need to grow, need to reposition ourselves in the best way we can. So on a daily basis, to be able to just take few moments and share a good feeling with whoever. It's just a healing energy. In giving out this kind of energy, benevolent, pure feelings, I do heal myself from whatever past. I don't even need to know what happened in my past, because sometimes we remove things. Sometimes we block them down, or sometimes we definitely don't know them, other life. But I just need to give this kind of vibration, to create them, to share them, like a lighthouse, like somebody that is really willing to build bridges of harmony. And in my experience, I found this kind of practice daily, short but constant, very healing. When we heard very often people say, I've got some trauma, I've been having some violence, and it's, that thought keep coming back in their mind. But if I keep entertaining that experience from the past, I will be stuck. And I can tell you by experience that I need to really bypass the thoughts of being a victim. I need to just face that I settled my karma, I've paid my bill, and now I want to move forward, healing the heart and make it as large as possible. If I really want to be positive, I have to create a positive karma. This for me is essential. If I want to be positive, I need to create a positive karma. And when I sow positivity, that's the seed I will sow, then I will reap opportunity. Opportunity of a variety of level. Then I will become less worried about life. It's so comfortable not to worry. It's actually a great release not to worry. But not to worry, it's an achievement. Carefree is such an incredible achievement. But I need to sow the seeds of positivity as much as I can all day long. And we have tons of opportunity to do it. From smiling to somebody, from doing even mundane little action, or saying good positive words, acknowledging people goodness, praising somebody when he deserves it. But what do I need to sow if I want to reap abundance that will make myself positively happy? People, when they do worry about various issues, they are not so positive. They become closed, tense, stressed, with anxiety. So what do I need to sow in order to reap abundance? And of course, the verb that makes a big difference is giving. And I am in a place right now in Montabu where giving seems in the blood of everybody. In every aspect they're giving. So it's so easy to think about giving here, because, and this is a great example, that when you give, you inspire people to give. Giving begets giving. That means positivity begets positivity. And it becomes an example. for people to follow. And this is also creating good karma. But remember a story, I don't know if you know it already, the story of a lady, again a lady, that she was in a family of philanthropists, people who love giving. Then she got married and she went to live in the family, the family of her husband. And the father-in-law and the mother-in-law were pretty different. They were very miserly, not really giving at all. And one day, so she was feeling quite uncomfortable. It wasn't in her way. She didn't grow up in that way. So anyway, they were having lunch with the beautiful meals on the table. But it was India, open windows, and a beggar under the window begging for food. So she went to the window, bent towards the beggar and said, "You know what? We cannot give you anything because we are eating leftover and very soon we will be a beggar like you. We can't give you anything." And then she went back to the table and the father-in-law was very shocked. It was such a wonderful meal, rich and abundant. And he looked at the daughter-in-law saying, "What are you talking about? Is this a leftover?" And the girl said, "Yes, we are eating the leftover of your good karma of yesterday. But because we are not giving out anything today, tomorrow we won't have anything, like the beggar." And I like this story very much because in essence, it's talking about karma. So if I really want to be positive, I need to create a positive karma. That's so basic, but so real. So a question, what kind of karma have I created today? From major things maybe to very tiny things, like having a good thought for somebody. Just a good wish, or being available, or having given some time to listen to somebody's story. And another principle for positivity is that everything is beneficial. Everything that happens holds some benefit for us, even when it doesn't look so beneficial, but yet it does carry either a teaching, a learning for me, or a karma to settle. But in both ways, it's beneficial. And many, many years ago, my first journey to the Brahma Kumaris headquarters, I was watching a cultural program, what is happening sometime here in the evening. Some people were dancing, some people were singing, some people were having a skit. And there were two boys, young boys, maybe, teenagers. And they did a sketch on the stage. And I still remember that because it was so impactful for me as a story that they were, having as a little drama that I've been using that story ever since when I do the positive thinking course, which, by the way, is one of the courses which is more requested by people, the positive thinking course. And I usually start that course with this story to set the tone of the idea that everything that happens carries a benefit for the self, whether I see it today or not, but eventually I will understand it. And the sketch those two little boys did on the stage was talking about a king and an advisor. The king and the advisor, a very wise advisor of the king, went for hunting in the bush. And eventually the king got a little pain on the finger, you know, and the blood was coming out through a tree. So he was bleeding. And then he asked the advisor his typical question. He said, why am I having this pain? Why am I having this bad experience? And the advisor replied with his most common response. He said, Your Highness, everything that happened is good, is beneficial. And the king couldn't see any benefit in being cut and bleeding. So he looked at the advisor and said, what are you talking about? You know, this is not, how can you say it's beneficial? And he got so upset. He sent the advisor back to the castle in the prison. And he carried on in the bush by himself. Can you imagine somebody being just upset, you know, full of ego, like you were mentioning before, alone? And he went on, and eventually he got into a tribe. They were having their sacrificial moment, and actually they were looking for a good sacrifice to put in the hot water pot and sacrifice to their deities or whatever. So the king was big enough, good sacrifice. So he got caught and put in a hot pot. But you know, the man there, the wizard, I don't know how to call it, saw that he was bleeding. And blood is equal to impurity. So it wasn't good enough. So they threw him away. And he saved himself. So he went back to the castle, mortified with the advisor. He was right. Everything that happened was beneficial. So he went to the advisor and said, you know, I'm really, really sorry. You were right. Everything that happened is beneficial. I'm saved because of this cut. And the advisor replied, Your Highness, you don't have to worry nor to feel sorry, because everything that happened is really beneficial. If I was with you, you know what happened? It would have been in the pot. So I really love this story because it indicates that if I see everything that happened with the right perspective, with the right glasses, then I will understand the secrets of karma and the importance of learning what qualities, what virtue, what power do I need to express to be able to face whatever issue comes on my way. Because we are not free from problems. Yet I can see a problem huge, small, medium, extra small, and practice, which is very useful at this point, is to be a detached observer, which goes very much along with the understanding of karma. Being just a detached observer, that means taking a space of time for me to understand what is going on. You know, because nothing happened by chance. It's got its own reason, its own meaning. So am I able to understand why is this happening to me? Understand it and process it in a positive way inside. When I'm a detached observer, detachment itself has an incredible effect that is bringing me right to the core to access what I need to reply to the event with positivity, with love, with understanding, with care, with compassion. It depends on what is necessary. But I can only access the best of myself. I can only enter the sacred space within me if I'm detached. Otherwise, I will be caught up in the emotional turmoil. Sometimes it's little, sometimes it's an earthquake, sometimes it's, hurricane, and I won't be able to really express the best that I could and not creating further karma. So the practice of being just an observer. Lately, I was witnessing a situation and I felt like, intervene. And then I thought, no, let me just be a detached observer and spread this kind of energy of benevolence, of peace, because we underestimate the power of the mind. Our mind in each one of us is extremely powerful. Am I using it in that way? Or am I impulsive, get into situation with the idea of solving them? Probably the intention is good, but maybe the way is not so good. So if I'm detached, I can access. It's like it opens the way, door to those resources, powers and virtue within myself. And then they can emerge. And I can even watch that happen and appreciate them. And appreciating them means I appreciate myself. And within that is the practice of acceptance. Often it's very hard to accept what is dysfunctional, what is negative, accept people doing the wrong things and creating damaging, accepting irresponsibility. But acceptance doesn't mean that you are giving up what is and just let things, be loose or not well. Acceptance means that you are surrendering to what it is, because that's reality. I need to go above the reality. I think it's a wonderful practice to try to go above what is not functional, what is not right, the duality. Because as Roger Cole was saying in the previous episode, ego plays an immense game and sustain duality. Can I move above and sustain unity? Become at one with myself, my positive core, with the Supreme, to whom I just draw energy from. And I make room within myself for that positivity to produce something which is unique and produce a contribute that is unique. Because sometimes, often, acceptance is forced. Like I accept because I have to. I accept because I don't want to fight. But really, real true acceptance is a journey through the heart, to the heart, from the heart. And therefore, I build a different level of awareness. So those were some practices. And of course, the effect just look at the time. Okay. The effect of being positive, of having positive thoughts, it's immense. We saw many examples like that. We had the fortune of witnessing some teachers, the one that we call seniors, being positive no matter what, being givers no matter what, being in full acceptance of event, drama, no matter what, and seeing the effect of that on people, on whatever will happen, building wonders, and on themselves, growing so much through anything. Anything can happen anytime. So how do I remain stable if not entertaining positive thoughts? And positive thoughts are saving my energy. We don't have so much energy, do we? So I need to save my energy. Negative thinking is consuming energy and depleting the self. Positive thinking is producing energy, or at least sustaining energy. And on a mental level, physical level. And another effect is that I will be more effective, and more responsible, more productive if I'm positive. I remember working in a company many, many years ago. I was only maybe three years in this path, in knowledge with the Brahma Kumaris. And I was studying, because I came when I was still a student. So I was studying, and I was also working partially sometime. So I was called in a company to be there for some months only, for a temporary job. And the person I was working with, I was his assistant. He was the director, administrative director. He was such an angry person. He would shout all the time. People were so scared to go to see him because he would really offend everybody. It was quite challenging for people. But I decided for myself, seeing the context, that I would create every day the best thoughts I could for him. Like, of course, you can't deny he was angry, but I would think he's willing to do the best. He's perfect. Like he likes things to be perfect. He likes order. He likes effectiveness, and he's actually doing his best in his own way. So I didn't allow myself to have negative thoughts for him. And the effect of this was that everybody was coming to talk to me, to release their stress or their pain, having been hurt. And I would just walk with them, listening to them, and try to give them a different perspective. And after 6 months working there, and I was feeling that this was my service there, just keeping everybody as calm and cool as I could. Of course, myself too. And after 6 months, when I left the office, because my term was over, the desk in my office was full of gift, full. I couldn't see the desk. And that was probably the way for them to share gratitude. So when you are positive, you produce gratitude in people. They cool down. They try to change in a way what they couldn't change otherwise. So healthier relationships are there. And relationship plays really major role. And positive is a sign. has this sign, minor and plus. Plus is a positive sign. So that means the horizontal line and the vertical line. And the vertical line, which is the positive sign, otherwise is negative sign. When we add the vertical is positive, is because it indicates two things. Indicates I need to go deeper inside myself, as deeper as I can, to restore the best and to promote positivity. And the higher part is the connection with the divine. I don't know really, personally, for myself, how could I be facing reality? Italy is a very chaotic place. But COVID, the situation of the COVID was extremely challenging. But anything, and I guess every country is the same condition. But I don't really know how could I be facing life if I didn't have this understanding or this knowledge, this opportunity to know and connect with God. And in a way, access His energy and feeling full through meditation. And it's such an incredible gift to give to the self and to allow through the self to give it to people, to implement our level of energy, including absorbing His energy and feeling His love. I don't know how I would have been able to cope with the reality, really. Or maybe, who knows? But so being positive is such simple daily practice of trying to see the self in a way, in essence, check and change. And many thoughts can pass by. It depends it's a choice to stop them and invert the energy from negative ways to positive. For some people, positivity is a naive stuff. Like, how can you be positive? Reality is so tough. Positivity is nothing to do with naivety. To be naive is actually wisdom. Wisdom at work is innocence, like a child, but in balance with wisdom. In fact, positivity is very much connected with that balance, being innocent and wise, being a child and a master. Okay, I think I will stop here.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. I was just pondering on that master and child, being innocent and wise. We really don't have a lot of time for questions, but I'll just take one question. It's a very interesting one. The brother is asking that I have a lot of positive thoughts for myself, but I really can't see positivity in other people around. Is this really positivity? And he's asking, is it really ego? Am I egoistic?
Often we hear people saying, I have many good people around, but one person, I can't see anything good in that person. So we all have one triggered, somebody that is a challenge. If I see the goodness in myself and it's real, I will see goodness in people too, when it's real. But if I see goodness in me and not in other, there is something that doesn't match. Because it's by default, if I see goodness in me, I will see in them. That's why the practice of looking at my quality, detecting my quality, practicing the 8 powers, for example. The more I do this really with the consciousness of being a soul and not sustaining ego, but sustaining soul consciousness, then naturally I will appreciate people because I appreciate myself. And it's a mirror. So yeah, there is a portion of ego if I don't see goodness in people. It's like I don't really see the depth of myself in the right way.
Great. So probably the plus sign of positivity, the depth is not there, and even the connection is not there. It's minus. Thank you. That was a good one. I like that plus thing. Okay, so we'll just invite our seniors now, Dr. Ashok Mehta and Sister Claudia, to propose the vote of thanks. So over to you.
Thank you, sister. I think it was an amazing talk. One of the wonderful talks, the last 51 talks.
Thank you.
I liked everything that you said, especially all the 4 stories you told. They will always remain with me. I think storytelling is a way of conveying the best that you want to convey. I always used to tell, whenever I meet doctors, that what attracts me to the Brahma Kumaris. And I say, there are many things, but one thing that I would tell everyone is this is a school of positive thinking. So I think positivity is the strength of our teaching, Baba's teaching. In Hindi, what we say, जो भी होता है कल्याणकारी है. Whatever is happening is for the good. And whatever is not happening good is because of our past karmas. So it's karmic theory. You talked beautifully about witness and being observer. I think all those beautiful stories which you have told, I think the last one, especially when you talked about being innocent and wise, a child and a master, I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Enjoyed every bit of sister. I was in Milan about 25 years back. I was trying to recollect. I met you, or I went to the center. I went with a group to Switzerland for a meeting at that time in the south of.
I was in Bologna, which is another center.
Okay, so I missed you out at that time.
Yeah.
Because I was at the Milan Institute of Oncology with Professor Veronesi. So that was at that time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a city, couple of hours away from Milan.
Yeah, that's how I missed you. I've never met you before, as far as I recollect, but I think you were wonderful. I like the English that you speak. It's something like what we talk in India. The Italian English is much easier to be with rather than being very fast and difficult. I think we share a lot of things. Thank you very much, sister, for bringing the best positivity to all of us. Om Shanti.
Thanks to you. Thank you, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Antonella. It's
Om
a
Shanti.
pleasure for me to have you with us. Actually, we share something. My grandfather was Italian, so I always have that. In Brazil, we have that Italian blood because I'm from Brazil. So I was really looking to hear you because I never met you before. So I quite like it. There's some points, many points you talk today. I cannot go into all the points, but some was really struck because I like karma philosophy. And then you talk about if I want to be carefree, live a life without worry, I have to pay attention to my karma, to my positive karma. Then that's the way that we can have a carefree life, because life always brings us some one thing or the other one. If it's not with us, it's a family member or a friend or whoever. So, but if we pay attention to the karmic account, that everything we do in a positive way, so I can go through all this, but still be carefree. So thank you very much. And I also, like Manoj said, I quite like that positive, the plus, to see how I never thought about that. It's a quite different way of looking, but it's a quite, was very many points. I really thank you for being with us today. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thank you.
So thank you so much, both of you. And there are many messages coming up. Actually, there are quite a few new people who have joined. So we would request you all to please send your email addresses and WhatsApp numbers. And before we go into the quick meditation, Anu sister, just be ready with the photograph because many people are asking and they are personally sending me messages. And as we had promised, we will try to keep to our promise. We have all new faces for you all. Already 2 new faces since this year have started. So let's go further. Mike George, we know him very well, a very famous author and a management tutor as well, all the way from UK. We were supposed to have him in September. For some reason, there was clash of dates and he was very apologetic. He said, no, I can't do, I'm so sorry. So, well, that's divine drama, we say. So he'll be covering on creativity, which is actually quite a difficult value to speak about. So I'm sure he will do a lot of justice to that the next weekend. And remember, if, the clocks are going back in the US and Canada from tomorrow morning. They will be having an extra hour of sleep Sunday. So from the next Saturday onwards, everything will be a bit to accommodate the West Coast timings. 8:30 p.m. India time instead of 8 p.m. So it fits the Pacific time of 7 a.m. in the morning. So please keep a note of that. No worries, we'll be sending you the emails and links as well. And then we have another new speaker with us, Sister Judy Rich, who is the center coordinator in Calgary, a very creative person, highly artistic person as well. So we'll be having for the workshop, she'll be there with us. And another slight change would be because she's got another clashing program as well, but she wanted to share. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing first her talk and followed by the second hour would be the experiential exercises. So we would request you all to stay on for the experiential exercises because that's what you all like. And as I said, the timings will be, everything in India will be half hour forward. So it's 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. India time. So it is the 6:30 a.m. for the West Coast Pacific time. And this is our elusive, elegant calendar. We have tomorrow the Vihasa workshop as well. Sister Kosha and the Mumbai team does it. So if you want to attend, you're welcome to do. It's mentioned here as well. And yeah, I would just want to spend half a minute on this because many people are asking. So all these values workshops are available on this link. If you can click it, I'll just read it out, omshanti.tk and /workshops. And all the episodes of the Values for Life series, they are there on the website of Vihasa India, which is vihasa.in, which you can see it's mentioned here. And also there's a playlist, same omshanti.tk /playlist and /English. It's also in different other languages. It's been translated, and thanks to all the interpreters who are really doing a lot of effort. So we have all the translated versions as well on the website. So you can feel free to visit that. So now I would request Anu sister to take the photograph. Thank you.
Sure. I'll take the photograph. So we want to be with Sister Antonella. So everybody can open the video.
And many thanks to Santosh Bhai, the brother that here has been set up the system. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, sister. So over to you, Manoj.
So thank you so much. So is Santosh Bhai playing some music there, Sister Antonella, or is he playing there?
I don't know if you can play some music, or can you play from inside?
Yeah, I'll play it. Yeah, I'll play that. No problem.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So we do a short commentary of how long?
5 to 7 minutes is fine. Yeah.
Okay. So I just relax. Remembering my true nature of being a soul. At the center of my forehead, in a hidden room behind the eyes. Watching my thoughts, releasing any tension. Feeling positive within. Feeling the positive energy from all of us. Messengers of positivity, of peace. Absorbing the light of the Supreme and spreading it all around as an invisible message of love, of care. Knowing that it will reach every corner and bring release to people's pain and sorrow. I am a loving being, deeply peaceful, deeply positive, deeply real. And I repeat these thoughts as many times as I can, checking my concentration. I am a loving being, a soul. Simple, positive, real. Positivity is my reality. Love is my nature. Peace is my inner treasure. And again, I'm sending this vibration out in the world. Invoking souls to awaken to the truth of themselves. And experiencing the love that God is sharing with me and everyone. Love is the mother of positivity. And I can feel the immense energy coming from above, feeling the heart, feeling the world. and I remain in this experience. Om Shanti.
So thank you so much once again, Sister Antonella, for the wonderful meditation experience as well, and for your time as well from Gyansavan.
Thank you to all of you, and I really enjoyed. Om Shanti. Bye.